Okay, so I'll show you a little bit more about our business. So I believe that most people would love to have their own business, but they doubt that they can, and it's scary. There's a lot of concerns when starting your own business. The main concerns are number one, it's usually a huge investment. You have to either open an office space or buy equipment or inventory, and you have to invest a lot of capital up front, and most people don't have that. And then, of course, time away from the family. It takes a long time before you're recovering the money you invested in. And then knowledge. I'll give you an example. So let's say you're an incredible mechanic, car mechanic, but you say, I want to open my own body shop. Well, it's a completely different set of skills as a business owner running a business than a mechanic. So again, maybe you don't have the right knowledge to be able to run a business. The next thing might be the need. You could have amazing products, cute little things that you're selling on Etsy, but if there's no need, no one's going to be buying it. I have offices up in Canada, and they could sell the best surfboards on the planet, but no one's going to be buying them because there is no need. So you got to have a great need. And then, of course, risk. That's the scary one. If my business fails, and most small businesses do fail, I could lose all my money or even my home. Again, it's very scary. And that's what I love about our company is it addresses all of these. So we can get back to that, but I want to show you a little bit more about how our system works and how we're paid. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. He wrote a lot of books, but my favorite book by him was the cash flow quadrant. And he talks about this cash flow quadrant is how we make money. There's four ways to make money as an employee, as a self-employed person, as a business owner, and investor. And he talks about employees basically having a job, trading hours for dollars. I work this many hours, I get this much pay at the end of the week. And they're very motivated by, again, I work this many hours, I get this much pay. Then you have self-employed people who they are more motivated by I get out what I put into this. Challenge with the self-employed though is typically they're working very, very hard. And if they don't work, they don't get paid. For example, a real estate agent, if he doesn't continue to work and fill his pipeline and sell houses, he's basically unemployed. A small mom and pop restaurant, typically, dad is in the back cooking and mom's out front taking orders, and they're working in their business. So you basically own another job. And so he said that on the left side of the quadrant here, he called it the rat race. And he said it's very difficult for you to build substantial wealth, become wealthy on that left side of the quadrant. He said, if you want to become wealthy, you really need to get to the right side of the quadrant. And that's becoming a business owner or an investor. So the investor is what we teach our clients, how to get money to work for you. Your money can work harder for you than you can work for it. So proper investments and proper education on the taxes and protection of risk, all those things. But the business owner is this is what we teach our agents. We try to teach you to kind of go from the employee mindset, like me when I came in, to self-employed to business owner. The difference of a business owner and a self-employed person is a self-employed person, again, if he doesn't show up to work, he does not get paid. So instead of a real estate agent, the business owner would be like the Remax owner instead of the real estate agent. So instead of the small mom and pop restaurant, the self-employed small mom and pop restaurant, the business owner is like the McDonald's. So the business owner owns a system. For example, let's talk about McDonald's. I have a friend who owns several McDonald's, and he doesn't go in and flip burgers, right? Who runs his McDonald's? It's teenagers, it's senior citizens. And so the business owner has a system, and that system runs his business and he gets paid. People work in his company and he gets paid whether he's there actually working or not. And so again, instead of the real estate agent, the Remax owner. So that's why our company is the fastest growing and I believe the best in our industry right now is because of our incredible system. The system is why I was successful coming from Bally's, having no experience in this industry in anything financial, in leadership, and I just followed the system and was able to kind of go from here to here to having my own very successful, very high pay business. And again, it's much more profitable than real estate industry to be in the financial industry. So when someone like me comes in, the first step is to get licensed. You have to pass a test. Not a very big deal. We help you. We have a system for that too. We'll help you study. We give you all the material, cram courses, and you take the test when you're ready. And our average person takes about 2 weeks in our system to be able to be prepared to take that test. So not that big of a deal with support and help. Any test is easy if you're prepared, and any test is hard if you're not. So don't stress. Okay, so once you're licensed, you can become basically like an agent with us, like a self-employed person, where you can go out, help families understand what we do and help them to be able to get a better financial situation, and you get paid very well. But again, we want to help you, if you want to become a business owner where you can have your own business, your own agency. You are the Remax owner, if you will, except for, again, in a much more profitable industry, um, where you can have your own business running. Now, how we get paid, there's many ways we get paid. One is you go out and help a family. Maybe it's an insurance product, an investment product, and you get paid very, very well. Let's say you have someone that saves about $200 a month in their insurance and investment vehicle, and you're not even a broker with us, somewhere in the middle, maybe a senior associate. On average, you'll probably make about $1,000. So that's pretty good for a few hours work. If you were part-time and you helped one family a week, you'd probably make about $4,000. Okay. So again, very good part-time income. Also, if they already have money and they're moving it, let's say they had $1,000 in, $100,000 in an old 401k, they don't work there anymore, they need to move it. You move it over. Typically, you get paid 5, 6, 7% of what's moved. That's another $6,000 right there, and you get your split of that. So again, it's not very hard to make money with what we do. Again, that's why a lot of people are attracted to the financial industry. But what I loved about it was, yes, you get paid well up front, but there's also residual income. Do you know what I mean by residual? When I think of residual, I think of like mailbox money. It comes whether I'm working or not. So I still get paid on stuff I did when I first started in this business 25 years ago. So trails are continuing commission on insurance, and renewals are continuing commission on investments. So for example, I am a mom of 4. And to me, what I loved most about this business was the freedom that I can control my time and set my own schedule and put my faith and family first. And I don't mind working hard, and I love helping people, but I don't want to work hard forever. So my residual income that's coming in from all of the clients that I've ever seen is paying my bills. You know what I mean? So I get paid this residual income that continues pretty much for as long as those clients stay on the books. I get my production from helping families. And then there's bonus and agency income, when you have your own business. So it's very, very profitable. Again, coast to coast, one of the highest paid businesses to be in. But again, what I love the most, obviously there's great pay, but what I love the most is the environment, our core values, what we stand for. And so this is just some of our core values. One of the biggest is personal growth. It's again, it's your own business. So there's no quotas. No one's going to tell you what you have to do and where you have to be, but we will challenge you to become the best version of yourself. Lots of leadership training and business owner entrepreneurship training, as well as the financial education and those things. There's a wonderful leader, business partner of ours named Ed Milet. You might have seen him on social media. He has one of the top podcasts for personal development and entrepreneurship and business. And Ed is, he's very successful, but he made his millions. He made his money here. And all the things that you see him teach about this personal growth is really kind of what we stand for here. I love that. Family is another big thing. We're always going to be a family first oriented company, where, that's really our whole mission of no family left behind. We believe that when we bring this financial education, we are bringing peace of mind and hope to families and strengthening the home. Strength of character is another big one. So, that's the number one thing that we look for when we bring someone aboard. That's why we only bring people aboard based on referrals. And that's why your friend told me so many great things about you and the type of person you are. So you could be the biggest producer on the planet, but if you're a jerk, a liar, we just don't want you. Teamwork is another big one. You're going to love the environment here. It's definitely very positive, kind of like the anti-corporate company. And then recognition, of course, is huge. I used to joke, I said, if you like sit right around here, you're getting some type of recognition. But we just believe if you feel good, you do good. And so they're very big on recognition, meaning like recognition trips and award trips and things like that, because um, really, again, what we do is very important, what we do for families, but it's also important to treat our people right. And so you can ask the person who kind of invited you how our environment is. It's just awesome. I could never do anything else. But let's kind of go back up here and talk about those business concerns. First is, that investment. There is no big upfront investment. This is not like a franchise where you have to spend 200, 300, 500 millions of dollars to get started. There's no upfront cost other than you have to pass a background check and you have to get licensed. The licensing, it really varies state to state. So it depends on your state, but I would say it averages around $170, something like that. You have to get fingerprinted and those things. And then the background check, and the background check's $125. And what they're really looking for is 4 areas: money issues, especially, misdemeanors, felonies, judgments, bankruptcies, tax liens, felonies, those types of things, misdemeanors, but mostly around money. And then also, if you ever worked in our industry in the past, if you've had, customer complaints, or you were fired or lost your licenses or those types of things. So honestly, typically, if you help 1 or 2 families, you have already are in the clear and have made your entire investment back. So again, all it is passing a background check and passing a test. And again, the test will help you with. So, I mean, not really big investment, maybe a couple $100. The time, you can come in part-time. I came in part-time. We love that people that are the best people in our communities, firefighters, teachers, this is a new industry. They can't just quit their job and they have little kids and go full-time into something that's brand new. So we're able to allow these people like myself to transition. So I came in part-time. I went full-time pretty quickly, but I was able to transition part-time until my income here was exceeding what I was making at my job, and was able to transition. So no stress to you or your family. Knowledge, don't worry about any of that. We teach you everything. I can teach you the products and the services and all those things in a few weeks. What I can't teach someone very easily is how to be a good person if they're not one. So then again, that's why we look for strength of character first. So don't worry about the knowledge. I knew nothing. I worked in a gym, for goodness sakes. I was 22 years old. And then the need, like I was telling you before, the need has never been greater. Out of 1,000 people, our industry only helps 1 to 10 people. And so there's this huge growing need. We were already the fastest growing company in our industry. And then when the pandemic hit, I think people's ears were opened and they knew they needed the help, but they did not know who to turn to. And since then, it has just grown even faster. And the nice thing is now, because we are virtual, we can get into people's homes in little tiny towns, in little remote areas of the country, where there's not an office near them, and give them this financial education that they deserve. So the need is huge. Plus, money never goes out of style. So there's always going to be a need for what we do. The challenge is the rest of our industry does not care to help the average Joe, the average family. And so that's, again, why we're expanding so much. And then, risk. What risk? Honestly, if you decided to come aboard, and let's say you gave it 3 months, and 3 months from now you decide it's not for you, you want to walk away, what are you walking away with? You're walking away with a world-class financial education that you can teach your kids and change your family's legacy, and a license that you own, that you can always make money with. So, risk, really, what risk?